Let's go.
Let's get it.
Welcome back to another episode of Turf Talk, a special edition Monday night version of the show. Why? Because it's Dallas week. The Eagles take on the Dallas Cowboys in Dallas tonight on ESPN. Monday Night Football. Scott, are you ready?
Yes, sir. So, as you guys know, DSM Media, Turf Talk are completely sponsored by Manscaped. We do have a small little ad read. It's our first time ever on Turf Talk, but we definitely want to get in, promote Manscaped as best we can here. So let's get started, guys. DSM Media is brought to you by Manscaped, who's best in men's below-the-waist grooming. Manscaped offers precision-engineered tools for your family jewels. Manscaped just launched their 4th-generation trimmer, the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard that right, the 4.0. Join over 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with this exclusive offer for you. 20% off and free worldwide shipping with the code DSM at manscaped.com. Manscaped engineered the ultimate groin and body trimmer by focusing on intelligent functionality and an incredibly comfortable grooming experience. Their 4th-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. This upgraded trimmer includes a multi-function on and off switch that can engage a travel lock. It also gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a precise shave. And did I mention the wireless charging? The new wireless charging system uses electromagnetic induction, which can help battery length last longer. Get 20% off and free shipping with the code DSM at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com using the code DSM. Unlock your confidence and always use the right tools for the job with Manscaped. Your balls will certainly thank you. I know mine.
They definitely will. They definitely will, my man.
It definitely is cutting edge, man. I have my experience with it.
Manscaped.com, code DSM. It's right at the bottom of your screen. It's brought to you by DSM Media. And as always, be sure to check us out on Twitter at DSM_media. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Give us a follow on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, wherever you get your content, wherever you subscribe to, and tap in all over the place. And why do you tap in, Scott? For one of many reasons here, not just our great content, but also our giveaways. And to start tonight's show, by the way, we have a special guest, Zeke at Spoon of Zeke, sitting in the background. He will be joining us in just a few moments to talk about his Dallas Cowboys, not his Callous Cowboys, tonight, and preview this matchup a little bit with us. And then, as always, me and Scotty will take you home and lead you into game time from there. But if you did follow DSM Media on Twitter, if you did tag a friend, if you did retweet the tweet, you got entered for a chance to win our Jalen Hurts T-shirt giveaway. If you did also provide proof of subscription or follow on our other sites, that's an extra entry. So guys, here's our wheel. It's about our 3rd time using it, our 3rd giveaway here on DSM Media. A lot of names in there, a couple names multiple times, because they did provide proof of extra entry. And here we go. We will be announcing the winner live right here. And obviously we'll tweet it out if you're not tuning in live right now to let you know that you won. And then all we need is your size and information, and we will get this shirt to you immediately. Scott, let's start off Dallas week with the giveaway. Here we go. What do we got? TU Owls fan, Temple University fan.
Temple fan in that. Sure
Temple fan got into the entry a little late. I think they got put in today. So congrats to TU Owls fan. If you're not tuning in right now, we will be DMing you and announcing on Twitter as the show ends. But Scott, let's get our guest in here tonight. At Spoon of Zeke on Twitter, everybody. You know him, the dude that created or has made famous follow trains. He's the man, the legend. Zeke, what's going on, buddy? Thank you for joining us.
Nothing much. I'm glad to be on your show, guys. Been glad helping you all, increase your reach and get more followers for you. So it's always good to put names to faces, or faces to names. So, thank you for having me on.
Of course, man.
Yeah,
I know
we're all
I'm happy to
tongue-tied
have you
tonight.
on. So
Yes, sir.
nice to put the face to the Twitter handle there.
Absolutely. All right, man. Before we get into tonight's matchup, I just want to ask you on your thoughts for this 1-1 start to the Dallas Cowboys season. Likes, dislikes. What have you seen so far that you've been impressed with, disappointed with? I know you guys are a little banged up. Lyle Collins suspended. Obviously, DeMarcus Lawrence went down. Michael Gallup's out. So what are your likes and dislikes to the start of this Cowboy season?
Well, I went into the season knowing that our offense was going to set the pace for the game. That's really how the games have really been going. Our defense, I really like Trevon Diggs. I think he's the most elite corner that we've seen in Dallas for a minute. He's doing very well. He's getting a lot of interceptions. Micah Parsons is stepping up. So, the defense isn't there. Like, I'm not expecting a championship from Dallas this year, but I am expecting them to win the division. The division is kind of weak all around. They all have their strengths, they all have their weaknesses, but I think our high-powered offense is what to really look for. I've also been impressed with Tony Pollard. He's brought the energy from last year to this year. Zeke's being used more as like a longer-term investment. They're using Tony to really take off that workload and keep Zeke fresh for the games that matter, so that's okay. And Dak, he came out swinging like always. I have been highly impressed with how he's had zero fear and he's been just chucking the ball everywhere. CeeDee Lamb's been looking great. The one thing I don't like about the offensive line's health. And if you don't have an offensive line, you can't do too much. But I think Kellen Moore can try and make some plays that can actually overcome that with like quick slants or screen plays, whatever. So.
No, I love it, man. And just a real quick follow-up before I throw it to Scott is you already hinted at the two running backs. And that was kind of one of my questions for you is there is this perception, not just on Twitter or Cowboys fans that I talk to or know, and then just football fans in general that think Ezekiel Elliott is washed up or past his prime. I'm not under that perception at all. And then obviously we know the Tampa game, they hardly gave the ball to Zeke. They hardly ran the ball. Pollard's been getting a lot of touches lately. What's your thoughts on the dual threat on running back duo you guys have? Are you one of those fans that's disappointed in Zeke? Do you want to see more Tony Pollard? What do you got going on there?
I'm not really disappointed in Zeke. It's the way that the offense is built. Kellen Moore is a quarterback. He's the OC. He wants to chuck the ball. Dak is the guy. I mean, last year it showed that Dak is the Batman and Zeke is Robin. There's nothing we can really do about that. But why, for me, why would you throw your, $60 million running back at the Tampa Bay defense where the front seven is their best part of their team? So that makes complete sense why they didn't want to throw him in, because why would you want to lose him when you need him probably later in the season? So I'm not really worried about it. Tony Pollard, though, I love Tony Pollard. He is very electric. He's a great scat back. He's great for third downs. He's great for a change of pace. And Zeke's been doing well, to be completely honest, when he has gotten the ball. He's also been doing great with pass blocking. I'm not worried about him at all. I do think that if anybody in the offense is to be moved eventually, it's to be Zeke, because just the high price tag, and Tony Pollard's coming up, like they have someone behind him, but he's not washed in any kind of way. It's really just how the play calling is going and how the offense is built. The offense is built for 4 wide and tight ends. So that's really how I see the Dallas offense.
Yeah, so I kind of wanted to comment. I know you threw in there. You've been obviously impressed with Dak. That was my biggest thing coming into this season for the Cowboys. Going into that Bucs game, you're talking about one of the best defenses, if not the best defense in the NFL. And Dak came out there with no fear. He came out slinging it. He looked unafraid to even move out of the pocket. He looked fine moving around. And I thought that was the biggest hump. And I was listening to an interview today. He said, the first time he realized he was going to be able to do whatever he wants this season, as far as health-wise, not feeling, nervous about his injury, was when he, kind of moved. He kind of shook Devin White, I think it is, from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the linebacker in open field. And he was like, yeah, I'm ready to go at that point. Dak, how much is too much for Dak? In your eyes, is there a workload that is too much for Dak? Are they going to put too much on his shoulders, Or do you see it kind of balancing itself out as the season goes on with, I know you said Dak is the Batman, and I totally agree with you there. But what are your expectations for Dak as far as staying healthy this season and the Cowboys balancing that workload?
There is no balance. It's what is working. They have 4 wide receivers. I mean, even Cedric Wilson, look, he looks good. And CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup's hurt, but if anybody out of 3, Amari, Michael, and CD, if any of them were to get hurt, Michael Gallup was to be the one, because we still got Dalton Schultz, we still got Blake Jarwin, still have Tony Pollard in the passing game. So honestly, there is no workload that's too much for Dak, because he wants to throw the ball. I mean, legitimately, he could throw for like 5,000 yards this year, and we could have 3 1,000-yard receivers. That's absolutely possible. With Michael Gallup out, probably not going to happen. But someone in the tight end room is going to step up. I mean, even when Dalton Schultz went down, when Blake Jarwin went down, Dalton Schultz stepped up. So there's guys that are behind the starters that can do some damage, and especially in the receivers and tight end room. So don't stop with that. Just keep chucking the ball. Keep chucking it until his arm literally falls off, because he's the one that's going to make this train go.
I hear that. And you saw it week 1 against Tampa Bay. I agree with you. I thought that was, looking back on it, everybody was ragging on the Cowboys during the game because they just weren't running the football. Zeke wasn't touching the ball. But when you look back on it, they played that game perfectly. Like you said, the front 7 of Tampa Bay is the best feature of their entire defense. There's no point in running into a brick wall constantly when you have wide receiver sets like that. The other thing I wanted to comment on, and it's just a kind of a comment there, because I've been really impressed with Trayvon Diggs as well. He's looking to be a surefire number 1 corner, and I am looking forward to that Bama matchup tonight of him versus Devontae Smith. I cannot wait to see that matchup. As I said, Trayvon Diggs has really held his own this season, and even towards the end of last season, he started showing those signs of just being able to make plays. So definitely just wanted to throw that in there. Dylan, I'll toss it to you, my man.
Yeah, man. I mean, last thing before we ask Zeke his thoughts and predictions on tonight's ball game is really that wide receiving core that you touched on. We all knew the offense of Dallas was lethal, whether we hate it or not. As Eagles fans, we knew that was the strong point, the focal point of this organization. Who's your wide receiver 1? Because I think going into this season, not just in fantasy football expectations, but as just football expectations, a lot of people were ready to put CeeDee Lamb as the number 1 wide receiver on this team. And week 1, Amari Cooper said, whoa, hold on. I'm still wide receiver number 1 on this roster. Who do you think's wide receiver 1? I think you got the CD jersey on right now. Who's your wide receiver 1 on Dallas, Zeke?
Amari is the best route runner in the NFL. He's so quiet. Like, I actually checked recently. Like, I followed him on Twitter since like 2017 or something like that. That man has not tweeted one damn thing. So like, he is that quiet. Like, he just doesn't speak, but he uses his play to make plays. And a lot of times it's almost like he rocks the defenders asleep, because you'll see where he won't get passes or any targets. But then he'll pop off for like a 70-yard run. What I see, like, this is the best way to describe it. In talent-wise, wide receiver 1 to me is Amari Cooper. But confidence, and the one that's going to be brash about it, is CeeDee Lamb. Like, CeeDee's got that personality. He's got, all the energy, and Amari's just in there just, all right, I'm just going to route run and just cook you all day on my routes. So I think that once CD starts, we saw in the first couple games that he had some drops. That's kind of normal with young wide receivers, especially with expectations put on him. But I think that he's going to be a better player as time goes on. And just being in the room with Amari Cooper, that stuff's got to rub off. So right now, Amari Cooper, talent-wise, is wide receiver 1. But with the personality and confidence, it's CeeDee Lamb. And I think CD is definitely going to, like, it's kind of like a 1A, 1B kind of thing. Like, you're splitting hairs. So those are my feelings on the wide receiver room.
Yeah, and I just wanted to comment on one more thing before we get your predictions on this game tonight. I'm always curious, just on outside fan bases perspectives. What are your thoughts on Jalen Hurts? If you've watched him, I'm not sure how much Eagles games you watch, but just your thoughts on Jalen Hurts in general. Some of the stuff that you've read up on, some of the stuff that you've seen. Any general thoughts on Jalen Hurts, and what's your perspective?
I honestly think that Philadelphia is trying to keep the chip on his shoulder, because even when they traded Carson Wentz, they still were like, "Oh, it's open competition." Dude, what are you doing, man? This guy's like, he went to Alabama. Okay, he got moved from the championship game, whatever. I don't really care about that. He went to Oklahoma and took them to the playoffs. So then he gets drafted behind Carson Wentz, and it's kind of a crazy move. Like, I was like, man, what are they doing? But what he has done has been very impressive for how little organizational support he has. Like, it's not like they're like, oh yeah, he's our franchise quarterback. Like, they're kind of like, we're going to take this game by game with him. And I think that the chemistry that's being built with Devonta Smith is really big. And I've seen some plays from him. To be honest, I don't really watch Eagles games. I just don't give a shit about him. Sorry, guys. But, just don't. But
Good.
I do like Jalen Hurts a lot, and I think that Jalen Hurts needs a little bit more respect. I kind of heard like he's a rich man's Tyrod Taylor. That's a very low floor. That's a very low floor. I wouldn't want Jalen Hurts bouncing around and only getting one playoff appearance. But they kind of said, we also kind of went down the line, and we were kind of like, well, what about Steve McNair? And Steve McNair had a cannon, but kind of like how their abilities kind of match up. If I can get anywhere close to Steve McNair with Jalen Hurts, I'd be happy. And I think that his chip on his shoulder will keep him in the league and keep him competing for jobs everywhere if he does go anywhere else. But it almost seems like Philadelphia hasn't bought into him. And that's what's really unfortunate, because I've seen some really good stuff from him, just highlights and stuff. I think he can be a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, and just to kind of finish up on that point, you see it with the rumors with Deshaun Watson, with the rumors. I've even heard rumors about Aaron Rodgers at some point. Not sure how realistic either of those are in reality, but it does tend to show you, they're not completely sold. Let's be frank here. They're not, and part of me feels like rightfully so, but at the same time, like you said, this guy has incredible character. For one, he puts the work in. And that's what I've been impressed about him most. But I definitely just wanted to get your outside perspective on him.
They need to put some respect on his name, because I'm sick and tired of seeing him work constantly all the time, being one of the first ones in the film room, last ones out. Like, I know he has that want to. But like hearing, oh yeah, Deshaun Watson, we'll definitely trade Jalen Hurts for Deshaun Watson. Dude, why don't you just worry about your quarterback that you have right now instead of playing dream scenarios in the middle of the season? He's trying to learn the playbook and trying to get chemistry with your wide receivers. Stop throwing stuff at him negatively. Like, you're just really and honestly, just making the chip on his shoulder bigger. And when he leaves, he's gonna be like, all right, I'm gonna dominate you when I leave.
I like it, man. I like it. And we talked a lot of what's been before this game, but now before we get you out of here, Zeke, let's get to tonight's ball game. What are your predictions for tonight? Who do you think comes away with a win? And what do you, as a Cowboys fan, because I know when you get off, me and Scott are going to try to break down this game and what the Eagles need to do correctly on both sides of the ball to come away with a win. What do the Cowboys need to do to come away with a win?
Honestly, I think it's a race to 35. I'm not saying that the Eagles defense is bad. I think that the Eagles defense is good, but I think that the linebackers are the worst part of the team. And I think losing, was it Brandon Graham that got lost, right? Yeah, like losing him, that's going to open up holes in the middle. So it's going to be kind of hard for the defense to be able to handle Zeke and then also handle the four wides, because it doesn't matter how good you are as a safety or a corner. It is very hard to cover four wide receivers that are spread out all across the field. It's just how it is. So I think it's going to be a race to 35. I think that the offense is going to come out flying for Dallas. I think that they're going to come out trying to air the ball out, trying to get that early lead, because my defense can barely catch a cold. Okay. Unless it's Trevon Diggs catching an interception, we cannot catch a cold. So we just got to get those points up high. So what the score I think is going to be, I think it's going to be like 28-35 Dallas. I think that it's going to be a normal, like, I heard a lot of people have been talking to me and they're like, oh, well, there's going to be a defensive battle, this and that. And I'm like, okay, well, 10 years ago in the NFC East, absolutely. I would definitely say it would be a defensive battle, because it's a dogfight every time that the NFC East comes together. Doesn't matter what the records are. We all hate each other when we're on the field. Right. That's just the truth. So now I think it's just a race to 35. Like, it's just, you can want a defensive battle all you want, but it really is going to take Dallas's offense to really fail on all levels for that to happen. And I just don't see Dak doing that, especially in a division game, especially against a rival. I think that everybody's going to come out and try and play very hard.
I like it, man. It's funny that you say that. It's actually one of my keys to the Eagles is make Dallas earn all their points, because a lower scoring game favors the Eagles more than a high scoring game was with that Dallas offense. And we'll get into that in just a few minutes. But Zeke, we appreciate you, my dude. We appreciate what you've done for DSM this month and to keep working with you. And thank you so much for coming on the show. Just before you get out of here, I'm sure 99.9% of our viewers and following know who you are, but just tell the people where they can find you and what you're about.
I'm Zeke Spoon on Twitter at Spoon of Zeke. You can find me on Twitter. I got an NFL follow train every day. I help people connect to other NFL fans, try and create a community where people can talk football. I always say to people, you can hate the team, but love the player. So that's kind of my all thoughts. And, I also have a YouTube channel where I try and show people how to Twitter better, how to get more engagement, more interaction. So definitely check that out, because the tips will absolutely help. It's what I did. Wasn't learned in a book. It's what I learned in the game. So that's Spoon of Zeke on YouTube as well. But, I appreciate you guys having me on. I had a lot of fun.
No, I appreciate you, my man. And listen, here's to a good, entertaining game tonight. That's all I can really – it's all we can really
No
ask for,
injuries,
right?
man. That's what I want.
No injuries. That's what I really want, because NFC East battles are always fun, but I never want any injuries for anyone else, because I don't want anybody telling me, oh, you guys beat the Eagles because Miles Sanders was out. I don't care. It's how the game was. I don't want any injuries. I don't want any excuses. I want a hard-fought game and just a lot of fun for Monday night, guys.
Appreciate it,
awesome,
Zeke.
brother. Thank you so much.
Peace, man.
Later. There we go, everybody, at Spoon of Zeke. And Scott, before we continue, dude, I've been trying to get the interview rolling and check out what's going on. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard, which is our streaming service, and Twitter. I know they had an update over the weekend with Periscope and Twitter Live and whatever's going on. Guys, if we're missing your comments, if you're commenting from Twitter, I'm sorry, we're not getting them here on the screen. We can't view them on the comment section right now. So we apologize for that. I wish I could see them, but thank you for tuning in. Thank you for commenting, and just continue to view and hang out with us as we get you ready for this game. And we'll try to get it fixed when we can.
Yeah, so I always have the show pulled up on the side just to make sure everything is flowing through correctly. I did see the comments streaming in, and it was very disappointing that we're not getting them fed into StreamYard. So we will have to follow up with StreamYard, see what's going on there, how we can fix that. But definitely just following up on what you said, Dylan.
Well,
sorry that
I almost had a heart attack.
Show.
I almost had a damn heart attack. We have a great guest on. It's Eagles Cowboys. We have a raffle, and for the first 10 minutes of the show, we have one viewer that I could see on my screen. I'm like, one viewer. I go on Twitter and I see 15 live, and I'm like, all right. So I don't know if StreamYard's not picking up or reading the Twitter viewers as we go. But guys, again, we're sorry, and we will try to get this straightened out with StreamYard as soon as we can. But keep hanging out with us, and let's talk some Eagles, Cowboys. Oh my God, keys to the game, Scott. I can't speak too much. I promise I'm not drunk yet. By the fourth quarter, I'll be there. But and that's going to be a hell of a post game show with Phil and myself, and I believe Jason Voorhees will be joining us as well on the Eagles Aftermath show. Don't know how I'm going to make it for that, but we'll see. Adams got a high scoring affair, 35-34 Eagles. I hope the end result is correct. I hope the Eagles come away with a win. I just don't see an ending in which it's a high scoring affair that the Eagles win. I don't see how that plays out well for the Eagles' favor tonight. But
what I would say is, if it's that high, I can see our hearts getting broken by a last-minute drive. I can see it playing out that way. We'll get into predictions later, but high scoring doesn't favor us. I don't think so.
Yes, sir. All right, Scott. Well, I got a couple keys to victory myself, but I will defer to you, my man. What is one of your keys to victory for the Birds tonight?
Yeah, so I got a couple keys to victory, and then I got a couple key matchups that I'm looking at. So I'll get into the keys to victory here first. First thing I'm coming with is, obviously, aside from the Cowboys, right, Nick Sirianni has to come out here with a competent game plan. We came out last weekend. We questioned a lot about Nick Sirianni, what he was calling last weekend. He and Jalen Hurts didn't have the greatest game in the world. Nick Sirianni, I thought, coached a very terrible game last week against San Fran. Got to come out here, implement the run game. You got to get these running backs going, even if it's Jalen Hurts that you're letting loose in the run game. As we mentioned, some of Dallas's defensive linemen are beat up, DeMarcus Lawrence specifically. You got to get Jalen Hurts out of the pocket. Let him loose. Let him run around tonight. I'm willing to let him go tonight against the Dallas defense that they have forced a lot of turnovers, right? But they give up a lot of yards. And so we need to let that offense go loose tonight, put Jalen Hurts in positions to be successful. We didn't see a lot of the short pass game last week. I'm looking for some screens, get Jalen Reagor involved, some short slant routes, get Devontae Smith involved. He's one of the the young, pristine, route runners in the NFL coming out of Bama there. I want to see them get these guys involved earlier. And finally, before I defer to you, Dallas Goedert, man, I preach this man to the holy heavens. I want to see him involved like a number one tight end should be involved. I think he has the talent that he can do some of the things. He is not a Travis Kelce. He's not a George Kittle. He's not a Darren Waller. He doesn't have any legs to stand on as far as that elite group right there yet. But the talent is there. We got to get him involved early. Let him get to work on these Cowboys linebackers. And Dallas Goedert always seems to have a great game against the Cowboys. I think we should continue that trend, get him involved early, get him excited, and we should see a good result from that.
Yeah, I mean, let's hope for no BS offensive pass interference calls on a 75-yard catch and run touchdown this game. I highly doubt that's the case, but you hit on a lot of key points, specifically on the offensive side of the ball, that I want to touch on real quick. You're right. Nick Sirianni coached a very poor game in week 2 versus the 49ers. He called an even worse game from a play calling standpoint in week 2 versus the 49ers. How does he bounce back? How does he took a lot of accountability, and he said he was beating himself up all week and going back and replaying things and wish he had this play back, right? Well, that's all well and good, but you have to clean that up. You have to clean that up from week to week. So that's obviously number one. Jalen Hurts also had a pretty poor passing performance. How does he bounce back as well? All things are going to be looking at. Run, Miles, run. That's another thing that you touched on. Miles Sanders, not just a running game, but I believe I saw the other day the Eagles are the number one rushing team heading into week 3 in the NFC and number 2 in the entire NFL. And Miles Sanders hasn't had himself a game yet, right? He's gotten, double-digit touches, but, minimal yards. I think, he didn't even score week 1. I don't believe Kenny G found in the end zone. He didn't score week 2, obviously. That was Hurts. So he's yet to find the end zone. Get Miles Sanders the damn ball. Get him involved. Yeah. You mentioned the weak defensive front of the Cowboys. Attack it. Use that right side of your line, and I'll explain why the right side in just a few minutes and not the left side. But listen, man, all great points. And Dallas Goedert as the last one. Use the middle of the field. Not just Dallas Goedert. Zach Ertz. Get these tight ends involved, the receivers, everything. Attack the middle of the field versus Cowboys. Get the ball in your playmakers' hands over the middle of the field. Use that speed, something we haven't seen yet. And I heard a comment earlier today. Maybe that's because they don't trust Hurts to deliver the ball over the middle of the field yet. Maybe Hurts isn't comfortable delivering the ball over the middle of the field. I don't know what it is, but you need to overcome that. That fear on either side needs to be overcome tonight. Attack the middle of the field. I'm going to go for my first key on the other side of the ball. And it's funny. Again, we didn't plan this. Scott's got a number 2-4 jersey on. 2-4. Obviously, of course, they changed their numbers this offseason. But Darius Slay, and I choose that because of this. Turnovers. The Cowboys lead the league in turnovers with 6, I believe, through 2 weeks. The Eagles are dead last with a goose egg. 0, zilch, nada. So on both sides of the ball, find a way to turn the Cowboys over. Give Jalen Hurts in this offense a short field. End a long drive with a turnover for the Cowboys, right? And reversely, if you're Jalen Hurts and company, don't allow that high-powered offense to get a short field. Don't turn the ball over. I know it's like a lot. Jalen Hurts doesn't have a turnover yet through 2 weeks. So it's like, okay, can he get through 3 games with that one? I think he needs to, Scott. So turnovers are key point number 1. Win that battle. And I'm going to bold prediction of the show. Darius Slay gets his first interception tonight against Dak Prescott.
I would love that. I would love that. That's exactly why I wore the jersey tonight, as Dylan said. We did not plan that. Just to kind of feed off your point there, I did mark down here as a key to victory. Jalen Hurts has to have a clean game. He's had clean games, the first 2 games of the season. Obviously, last week was not operating like a well-oiled machine like we would like to see, but still didn't turn the ball over against a really good San Fran defense. We saw a couple of our own turnovers on defense get turned around, whether that was, proper or not. I need to see this defense get turnovers. But to hop back to Jalen Hurts, also, we touched on that. I believe you said that the Eagles played Washington football team on Sunday Night Football last year. But this is Jalen Hurts' first true primetime game. Right. He is in the spotlight down in Dallas, Texas, at that AT&T Stadium, one of the most premier stadiums in the NFL. He's in his home state. It's important that he doesn't get bigger than the game in this, doesn't start to play that Carson Wentz hero ball here, but also understanding that the spotlight is now. It's his time to make his mark on the Eagles in Philadelphia. Lock yourself in as that starting quarterback. We heard how Zeke felt about the perception of Jalen Hurts, not only in Philly, but in national media. He can make a statement. This is a statement game for Jalen Hurts, right? And what you can do, you can go into Dallas tonight on Dak's first game back from injury in Dallas, Dallas's first home game this season, and you can spoil their homecoming tonight. That's a huge statement, Mark, for Jalen Hurts to have in this game tonight, as well as Nick Sirianni wearing the T-shirts, all throughout the week of Beat Dallas. That's not rent-free for Dallas. That's our coach really wanted to inspire a culture.
Rent's not free. Rent's free, bro.
Dallas's ass. And they got to go out here and take this moment. Dallas is injured right now. Their offensive line is beat up. Their defensive line is beat up. Now is the time to take advantage and really make a mark in the season.
Rent's not free. Rent is due. Right, Scott? That's the motto here.
That's the motto.
Listen, I'm glad you brought that up, honestly. And I know our man Phil here at DSM put out a tweet about it. The cliche, the Beat Dallas T-shirts. I actually like it this week, because as Philadelphia fans, in a week where, a Dallas week almost got foreshadowed by another name in Philadelphia playing for another team that's not even in season right now. It took away that Dallas feel, that let's go, that rivalry, right? So it was nice to have the cliche of the T-shirt. It was nice, you hearing I think John Clark reported it, that Nick Sirianni showed a film session last night of inspiring, momentum plays in the Cowboys-Eagles history, and hearing from some former Eagles about the rivalry and why it means so much and how important it is. So that was good to hear. I appreciate the cliches this week out of everything. Again, great points. Jalen Hurts. It was one of the things I was going to get to later, but him and Sirianni, you're auditioning for your futures in this organization. Nick Sirianni auditioning this year for his future as the head coach of this team. Jalen Hurts auditioning to be, to become a franchise quarterback, to be the guy, right? You're coming off your first loss. You're coming off a down bad performance. How do you respond under the brightest of lights in a rivalry game against your division foe? It's huge tonight. It's a character thing. So it's not just play, right? Everyone wants to talk about a high character guy that Jalen Hurts is. To me, responding tonight is a character situation. It's how you bounce back after a bad performance, right? But I'm going to keep it for now on the defensive side of the ball, Scott. I already touched on turnovers and winning that battle. I think you need to eliminate chunk plays and explosive plays, and more importantly, explosive big long yardage touchdowns. It was the thing that I mentioned when we got Zeke off the show, is a high-scoring game, contrary to Adam's comment, I believe doesn't favor the Eagles with that high-powered Cowboys offense.
Yeah.
If you make Dallas, and it's funny because last week in, a game that the Eagles lost 17-11, they only allowed the 49ers to score 2 touchdowns, and those 2 touchdowns came on exhausting long yardage drives inside their own 10. So it's kind of hypocritical of me to complain about that and then say this now. But this week, make Dallas earn every point. Make them have to drive down the field and earn a touchdown, because guess why? A low-scoring game favors the Eagles, in my opinion. A high-scoring game does not. So make Dallas, make Dak, make Zeke have to chew up yardage and clock and get down the field and punch it in for 6 every time, and not a CeeDee Lamb 45-yard touchdown, not a Tony Pollard 60-yard run. Eliminate the chunk explosive plays. The Eagles have done a very, very good job of that through 2 weeks. Nothing against Atlanta was given up. And outside of a Deebo Samuel catch and run on a slant in week 2, no explosive plays were given up.
Yeah.
This is the test of all tests against one of the highest powered offenses in the NFL. You have to eliminate chunk plays tonight.
And I totally agree. The last thing you want is CeeDee Lamb out there flexing, Amari Cooper out there flexing, Zeke getting his spoon out. None of that. You don't want the crowd to get behind that, right? Like, that's when things can go south, is when they're getting that type of momentum built. If Zeke, bulls over Alex Singleton in open field, we're going to hear about it, and the crowd's going to be making some noise. You definitely got to limit those chunk plays, especially by key players. The Amari Coopers, the CeeDee Lambs of the world. You can't get those guys going. And to your point, I know Zeke said a race to 35. If the Eagles want to win this game, your key is holding Dallas under 25, right? I think if you hold Dallas under 25 points, that's a successful defensive night. Dallas is a high-power offense. They're going to score points. They're a team that I could see averaging 30 points a game this season. So if you can keep them under 25 tonight, you have a good chance of winning in my eyes. Their defense is going to give up yards. I think they're going to give up points. Jalen Hurts brings a different facet that they haven't faced yet in an offense, and that's a mobile quarterback that can get out of the pocket and run straight past your defense. So they're going to have to contain tonight. They're not going to be able to bull rush like they would a Tom Brady of the world, get all up in his face. They're going to have to play it safe with Jalen Hurts getting out of that pocket and making plays. And I think that brings a different factor. The only other thing I would ride on just to kind of, coattail your point there is time of possession, right? That feeds into all of this that we're talking about. And the Eagles need to win the time of possession this game. They need to run the football. They need short fields from their defense, right? They need turnovers in order to get Jalen Hurts in this offense in easy situations on offense. But aside from that, they have to establish the run. And it was part of my thing, coming out of the 49ers game. We need to pick an identity that we want to be. The Ravens, right? The Ravens have this identity. And I'm not saying that this is the identity that I want, but they come out, they run the ball down your throats. They let Lamar Jackson run whenever the hell he wants. And if that's what we need to do to make Jalen Hurts successful, I'm with it. I just want us to pick an identity, pick a focus as an offense. I don't want us to come out week 1 against Atlanta and we're running great screen plays and we're running short yardage plays and, getting guys open in the middle of the field. And then the next week we just come out and just throw strictly to the sidelines, right? We need a balance. We need an identity, and they got to figure out what they do well, and they need to do it quickly.
Well, you make a great point because, like I said, run, Miles, run. And again, it doesn't necessarily have to be Miles Sanders. Kenny G, Jalen Hurts, as you mentioned. I'd really like to see Miles Sanders get the touches he deserves tonight, I would feel. Here's my thing. Last week, like you said, they got whatever they wanted against the Falcons week 1. And then week 2, they got punched in the mouth and they couldn't do what they really wanted to do. And you heard Sirianni take responsibility and accountability, but he really praised San Fran's defense. And, they did a really good job of taking this away and they didn't allow us to do this. No. There is no, they took tonight. There is no, they took away the run. No, you find a way to run the football tonight. You find a way to establish Miles Sanders tonight. Yeah. There is no, the Cowboys did a good job of taking this way. You find a damn way to get that done tonight. That's the bottom line. No more, they did a really good job. That's all great on a possession here or there. They don't take away something for four straight quarters of a game. It doesn't happen that way, okay? My last point, don't shoot yourselves in the foot. You played yourselves out of a game last weekend. You shot yourselves in the foot too many times, too many mental errors, too many self-inflicted wounds to overcome to get a win in a close ball game last week. You cannot do that this week. And guess what? That's a reflection of, Scott. That's a reflection of coaching. Week one, you had the offensive line issues and the amounts of holding and false start calls. And it's they'll clean it up. It's week one. They blew out Atlanta anyway. Well, week two, those mental errors and mistakes really bit you in your own ass, right?
Yeah.
So guess what? We talk about Nick Sirianni's play calling, and if he doesn't, clean that up this week, what are we saying, tomorrow morning? Well, guess what? If the Eagles come out and are kicking themselves in their own ass again tonight and having too many penalties and unnecessary roughness calls and stepping out of bounds before touchdowns, that's coaching, okay?
Yeah.
That's being ready for the moment, being ready for the game. So clean all that shit up tonight. There is no, they took this away. You impose your will. You find your identity, like you said. Whatever it is, you do it tonight. You find a way to get a win tonight. I'm not having it tomorrow. I'm really not. It's Cowboys week.
Yeah.
It's been an off Dallas week. I've had to listen about Ben Simmons drama all week. The Phillies are going to make the playoffs. They're not going to make the playoffs. They're going to make the playoffs. Whatever it is, it's time. We're 35 so minutes away from kickoff. Find a way to impose your will and find your damn identity tonight.
Yeah, and to your point, this is an Eagles city, right? This is a football city. Time to bring your logo, your brand back to the forefront here. We can't be talking about 25 and where he wants to get traded to during Dallas and Philadelphia week, right? We can't do that. The Eagles are the face of Philadelphia, and they need to go out there and make us proud. They need to represent us well tonight. And when else to do it? If they're out there playing their hardest, not making mistakes, and they still lose, we can't be mad tonight. Maybe they're just not as good as Dallas. It
Upset,
could simply be that.
Like
It could be that.
disappointed, yeah. But mad, no. That's the biggest thing that I think that we and Eagles fans everywhere need to take that step back and that breath, because last week really stung and hurt, and you shot yourselves in the foot, and that was the takeaway.
Yeah.
But we kind of expect this team to probably not win a lot of games, probably not win the division. It's how they get to those outcomes. Well, guess what? I can't deal with how you got to last week's outcome. That's internal. You did that internally to yourselves. You beat yourselves. Compete tonight. Be exciting. Be fun. Take Dallas. Like I said to you before the show starts. Would I love the Eagles to win this game? Yes. But if they lose a close one and nail biter to the Cowboys, does that mean that the Eagles, all hopes for the division on the line, no matter how slim they were going into the year, are over? No, because you've proven that you can stick with the Cowboys. You stuck with the 49ers, even though you played a bad game, right? You go down there and your defense gives up 38 and the Cowboys, beat the brakes off of you. Week 3, any hope for the division is off. It's gone. There is no hope anymore, because you've already proven, you can't compete with them. So the defense has to continue to be stout. Here's 2 things I want to ask you before we get to our predictions tonight.
Yeah.
Well, I got a few questions for you, actually. And anyone commenting that we can see your comments, please feel free to join the conversation. Brandon Graham is the first injury. Obviously, Brandon Brooks is out, but he'll be back. Landon Dickerson's in place for him tonight. That should be something exciting to watch. But Brandon Graham's out. How do you think they're going to replace the minutes of BG tonight, Scott? They did a pretty poor job of it last week, dividing up that rotation and minutes there. More Ryan Kerrigan, more Josh Sweat. Does Derek Barnett play a lot tonight? What are your thoughts on the defensive end?
Yeah, so, we kind of talked about Derek Barnett. Obviously, he's going to start. He's kind of been the guy that's been there. So he'll be the veteran as far as the edge rushers group, right? Kerrigan, there's part of me that wants to see Kerrigan tonight in an elevated role just because he has a history with the rivalry. He probably hates Dallas just as much as we all do. But then the other side of me is like, we just paid Josh Sweat. Go out there and make some plays, right? Like, give him the opportunity to make some plays. He was not in the game a lot against San Fran, even after Brandon Graham's injury, which I think is inexcusable. I think he needs to be in the game. We'll see a little bit of Milton Williams, but this was actually one of my keys, just as far as matchup wise. Yes, those guys will fill in for Brandon Graham's absence, but as far as productivity and effect in the game, we need Fletcher Cox to step the hell up. And I contemplated putting my Fletcher Cox jersey on tonight rather than the Slay jersey just because I need something from Fletcher. We pay this man a lot of money. I love Fletcher Cox. He'll probably go, into the Eagles Hall of Fame, whatever the case may be, NFL Hall of Fame. He's that great as far as his legacy. But you got to make sure that you are still worth that money. You got to show your worth, especially in the absence of one of our biggest leaders. He said how much the Brandon Graham injury hurt him. And if it hurts you that bad, let's go out there and show it to Dallas. That's the prime time to go out here, show everybody that you're still around. You're still one of the best defensive tackles in the league. And he's got to create some pressure tonight on Dak. And so I'm looking at that matchup of Hargrave and Cox versus the interior OL for the Cowboys tonight, the Zach Martins, the Connor Williams. I'm looking for those matchups, and I'm looking for Fletcher Cox and Javon Hargrave to dominate in that facet of the game. So to answer your question, Josh Sweat needs more snaps, especially now that BG's out. But I'm looking for Cox to fulfill that production, that leadership, that excitement on the defense. Sacking Dak Prescott and doing the army crawl, right? That's going to get everybody on your team. It's going to give them confidence. It's going to give the offense confidence. And it's going to let everybody know that you're still here.
I'm with you, dude. It's been a conversation for I feel too many years now. And it was always, well, he doesn't have enough help around him and he gets double teamed. Well, guess what? Javon Hargrave is one of the highest paid nose tackles in football, and he's playing at the best level of his entire career. Yeah. So there's no more excuses. So that's a great point by you. It's not to look at the replacement of Brandon Graham. It's to the other leader on this defensive line. Yeah. And it's, okay, dude, wake the hell up. Go cause some havoc in the backfield. Don't allow Zeke and Tony Pollard and this Cowboys offensive line to impose its will up the middle and pick up chunk plays in the run game. I love that. Literally, as I asked you that question 3 minutes ago, shout out Mike K on Twitter. He said, shooting my shot, 2 sacks for Josh Sweat tonight. So a lot of talk on who will replace the productivity of Brandon Graham, and it's a huge, huge question mark. Speaking of replacing productivity, here's where kind of the wind was taken out of my sails in terms of this ball game. When Jordan Mailata gets rolled up on in practice late on, Wednesday when that happened in practice or whatever, he's out, and Andre Dillard gets the start. Now, there's been a lot of talk of Micah Parsons is going to slide to that side, and he's going to be attacking Andre Dillard. Don't forget, I believe Randy Gregory is back tonight, so it doesn't really matter who's going against Andre Dillard. I'm scared. I'm scared for the overall outcome of the game. I'm scared for Jalen Hurts. I'm scared for the run game. That's why I mentioned to the right side, your strong side. Even though you're missing Brandon Brooks, the right side of your line with Kelsey Dickerson and Lane Johnson, has to. That's where I would be running the ball. That's where I'd be rolling Jalen Hurts out tonight. That's where I'd be, attacking in screens. Now, if you get a young, inexperienced Micah Parsons, bull rush, might not be such a bad idea to slip a screen out past that side here and there throughout tonight's ball game. What's your thoughts on the left tackle spot? Do you throw extra help over there? Do you throw in a tight end over there to help Chip? Do you run, to the opposite side of the field and get the hell away from Andre Dillard? Does that affect how much you drop Jalen Hurts back in just a 3-5 step drop and deliver the ball? What are your thoughts there? Because it frankly scares the hell out of me.
Yeah, so I'm with you as far as it definitely scares the hell out of me. Andre Dillard, all we've heard is negative things throughout training camp, throughout the preseason, and he ultimately lost his job as a first-round draft pick to a 6th or 7th round, 5th round draft pick.
7th, wasn't my last 7th?
Jordan Mailata, who had never played football outside of rugby, right? Like he had never played football coming to America. So when you lose your job to that guy, and mind you, Jordan Mailata, he just got a big contract. He is worth the money, and he rightfully won that job out, rightfully so. Andre Dillard, I'm not putting training wheels on this first-round draft pick. If you're going to come out here, you're going to be the backup. If we can't move you, whatever the case may be, I'm not putting training wheels on him. If he comes out here and gets exposed, that ends up losing us the game. That is what it is in my eyes. I don't think we can come out and play scared as scared as I am, right? Now, on certain things, rolling Jalen Hurts out to the right side, running the ball to the right.
Strong side.
I am doing that. I'm doing that. But as far as, changing the entire offense just because of Andre Dillard.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not doing that. And I'm going to let these guys fly. If he ends up costing us the game, at least we can see it with our own eyes now, and we know that this guy he's got to fucking go, right? Like, I'm not too worried about it. Now, as far as the actual facts, as far as Randy Gregory, if he's matched up against Andre Dillard, we talked about it before the show, he can bull rush based on the reports straight through Andre Dillard. We got to see what Andre Dillard's made of. We can't protect him and hide him. He's a grown man. He's in the NFL, and he's got to stand up. He's got to make his mark on this team. Prove that you can be a backup tackle in the NFL, right? You don't even have to prove that you're a starter. So, no, I'm not going to put training wheels on him, but definitely want to see some. I'm going to be paying attention to that side of the line all night.
Thank you for the kind words, Camden. Appreciate it. That's in 2 weeks, and CMC isn't healthy, but you're correct. Go ahead, bud.
Good luck.
Jason, I'm at work right now, fellas. His prediction, I'm always an optimist when it comes to the Eagles, so I see a 27-17 Eagles upset. I'm probably wrong, but that's my pick. Dillard needs to put up or shut up, then cut him. They're not going to cut him, but I agree with you, dude. It's time. Take the training wheels off. Now, does that mean you don't coach to help? No, that doesn't mean you don't throw Ertz or Goddard or a back over to that side dip. Doesn't mean you don't run, Jalen Hurts out, roll him out to the opposite side. Sure. But you're right. You don't try to babysit Andre Dillard because the former first round draft pick can't handle a simple bull rush. I mean, my God, dude, I heard the same rumors. I saw the same tweets as you did. Peace, Camden. Later. Thanks for joining.
Panthers going to the Super Bowl now.
First of all,
we were pretty high on the Panthers.
You would think we disrespected the Panthers. I have them finishing second in the division behind Brady and Tampa. But sorry, Camden, we didn't mean to offend you on the Eagles-Cowboys pregame show.
Didn't realize we had a rivalry with Carolina.
Yeah, man. But I'm with you. It's time to put up or shut up if you're Andre Dillard. You had a terrible, terrible preseason and training camp. You lost the job to a former rugby star and 7th round draft pick or under whatever the hell Jordan Mailata was. It's time to see what you got on a national stage. Last question for you, Scott, before we get into our predictions. So am I, buddy.
It is all good, man. We are good.
Yeah, nice. Shout out to Willie for the graphic as always. Scott, what would you try to take away if you're Jonathan Gannon tonight from a defensive standpoint? Do you try to if you're him, do you try to take away the run? If you're him, do you try to take away CeeDee Lamb? Do you try to take who do you try? What part of Dallas' offense do you try to take away?
So just, kind of feeding off what Zeke was speaking on earlier, CeeDee Lamb, obviously you want to control this pass offense as much as you can. The first step is definitely shutting down the run. We cannot have Zeke running through our entire defense. That can't happen. But what I would look to shut down Amari Cooper, make him very uncomfortable. He has the bruised ribs, not saying or injure him or anything like that. Play him physical. And I would focus on eliminating him from the game entirely. Yeah. As he's hobbled. So we need to make sure that he is not out here game breaking against us tonight, right? But that would be most likely my go-to as far as what I'm looking for from Gannon. I do think you have to stop the run first, though. If Pollard and Zeke are getting off, you don't stand a chance. Because now you have the entire defense second-guessing if they're able to run the ball. We won't know when a pass is coming at all at that point. So you have to stop the run first. And then from there, I'm going to the individual matchup. If it's Slay, if it's Steven Nelson on Amari Cooper, we got to win there.
I'm with you. But to me, so yeah, I had to take away the run immediately first, right? Because if that's available and the play action's available and the Dak rollouts are available, like you said it best, the defense is second guessing. If you can just pin your ears back and try to get after Dak, you can't do that with an effective run game. So slow down the run first and foremost. But as far as their outside weapons are go, I think CD scares me the most for his
Who
explosiveness.
did you put Slay on tonight?
That's the biggest question, right? I would probably throw him on Amari. And I know that's tough but I say that because of the experience and the route running capability of Amari Cooper. Put your best option on him. CeeDee Lamb is young. He's more raw, obviously very explosive. And can Steven Nelson stick with him if he's in a slot? Can Avonte Maddox stick with him? No, I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
But Steve Nelson's a vet. You know what I mean? He can probably find ways to make a play on CeeDee Lamb. I would take away Amari Cooper. I would try to take away Amari Cooper with Darius Slay and see if Steven Nelson and company, and maybe, because put it this way, you can double CD then a little bit more than you can. If you can leave Slay alone with Cooper. I'm not saying that Cooper won't win some battles throughout this game on him. He will. Yeah. But you do that, and then you try to find a way with Steve Nelson or whoever, and then an Ant Harris or whatever safety double on CeeDee Lamb. So
safety play is going to be key in that passing game tonight. They're going to have to help these guys out.
Yeah.
These receivers are too talented.
I'm with you, and that's where Rodney McLeod not being back yet.
Yeah, that one hurts.
It's tough, man. I'm not understanding. There were rumors that he would be ready by week 1, and then it wasn't week 1, and it's not week 2, and now he's practicing in week 3, but it's not week 3. And it's okay. Well, when is it time for Rodney McLeod to come back? When you have the Brandon Graham injury, you're missing that veteran presence.
Yeah.
But listen, man, we're running on that hour time. Obviously, we want to get ourselves gathered and ready for Eagles Cowboys.
I got one more quick thing. It's really quick, but really just wanted. I was kind of going on the Fletcher Cox and then the Andre Dillard, Jalen Reagor, man, and he's got to show up tonight as well. He's another first-round draft pick. Needs to make some noise, make his name on this roster. You got Devontae Smith attracting all the attention. He's going to get Trayvon Diggs tonight. Jalen Reagor's going to get Anthony Brown. Anthony Brown gives up plays. Jalen Reagor has to make plays in this offense tonight in order to get everybody else involved into the game, open up the offense. I need to see something from Jalen Reagor. That's just one more thing I wanted to throw in there, matchup-wise.
I'm with you, especially when you would probably most likely assume that Trayvon Diggs is matched up with Devontae Smith.
Yeah, makes too much sense.
Okay, now Jalen Reagor, you have to go take advantage of that weak secondary of Dallas and the number 2 option there. If you're Quez Watkins, listen, man, I never had the highest expectations for Quez Watkins, but boy, did a lot of people that were at the practice facility and the open practices and the joint practices and the preseason up close and personal praising this kid and how explosive he can be. Guess what, bud? It's time to step up as well. Because don't get me wrong, the 91-yard catch was exciting and it was big. He had one other catch in week 2. Yeah. Guess what? Week 1, he had 3 catches, I believe, on the opening drive. Didn't get targeted or have another catch in week 1. It's time for all the Quez Watkins haters, but we're not haters, dude. It's just I'm sorry if I'm not hyping up the former 6th or 7th round wide receiver. Okay, so it's time for him to show me. Devontae Smith's getting shut down by Trayvon Diggs, Jalen Reagor, and Quez Watkins. It's time for you 2 to step the hell up. And don't you love that, Scott? Don't you love the 3 weeks ago I was patience, raw, growing pains. Now I get the Dallas Cowboys. Winner takes sole possession of first place through 3 weeks, and I need to take someone's head off.
It's honestly
show up.
I feel the energy because honestly, we never get to play Dallas in these situations. Early season,
never this early. No,
slightly healthy, right? We never get them this early in the season, and this is our chance to kind of reinstate ourselves in this rivalry. As a lot of Cowboys fans have been thrown around this week, they have dominated it the last couple of season matchups. We got to take it back this year. Jalen Hurts, make a statement game. Let's get it going tonight. I love the energy, bro. I love it. So I'm ready to go. Predictions. What do we got?
Sir.
You want me to go first or?
Yeah, you go first. Sorry, I'm just scrolling through Twitter, and as I see this energy from Jalen Hurts, it's a video of him breaking down the huddle. Obviously, I can't hear it right now, but
can't wait.
Come
to get
on,
off.
baby, let's go.
And I saw some other tweets, is this the game where Jalen Hurts can make his name to where you actually buy the jersey? I don't know. I will see. I've been contemplating it just because
let's say this.
But
In the spirit of Dallas week, and I'm making a somewhat executive decision myself. I need to run this through the crew at DSM. But in the spirit of Dallas night, we did the Jalen Hurts T-Shirt raffle giveaway tonight. If he goes down and performs and they beat the Dallas Cowboys in week 3 tonight, stay tuned for a giveaway.
Let's do it.
Stay tuned for a giveaway. And you guys all know what I'm talking about. But Scott, what do you got for me tonight? Give me your score predictions, who's going to win, and give me a game-changing play, a play that that can really make or break this game.
Yeah. So, call me a homer, call me what you want. I cannot go against the Birds tonight. It is Philly-Dallas week. It is fuck Dallas week. I have to go Philly tonight. We have a chance, and that's all I can ask for with this young team. First-year head coach. Dallas is beat up. I think pressure bursts pipes. I think Fletcher Cox makes a statement in this game, brings himself back, puts the pressure on Dak, get a couple turnovers from that Dallas offense. I said it earlier in the show, keep Dallas under 25 points. You have a good chance of winning. Eagles 31-23 in Dallas. Jalen Hurts has a huge game back in Texas, reiterates what he did on week 1 against Atlanta. And big play of the game, I'm going with my guy Dallas Goedert, 45-yard touchdown bomb from Jalen Hurts to open the game. Not
down
open
the
game up, but to open the offense up. Down the seam, baby.
Oh, yeah, I can see it.
Dallas Goedert, that is.
I can see it. I'm going to go with the Birds 27, Cowboys 23. Eagles come away with a win, and my game-changing play is what I mentioned earlier. Big play Slay, Darius Slay comes away with a pick that now I'm struggling with my prediction here. I don't know if I want to make it a late game pick that kind of seals the deal, kind of like a Brandon Boykin type of interception a couple of years ago.
Maybe even Alito Shepherd style.
Or a type of pick where it sets up the Eagles for a go-ahead score on a short field to take the lead and win the game. Darius Slay is going to come away with a big pick tonight. Eagles win 27-23. That wraps up an exclusive edition of Turf Talk right here on DSM Media. Heading into Dallas Eagles right here on Monday night. For myself, for Scotty at DylanJD98, I am on Twitter. Scotty at Scotty Drowned on Twitter. And of course, we are brought to you by DSM Media. So if you're new to the channel, hit that follow button on our Twitter at DSM_media. Hit that subscribe button on our YouTube. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, wherever you get your content from. And that's going to wrap up tonight's show. Shout out to TU Owls fan. We will be sliding in your DMs in a few minutes to let you know that you want our Jalen Hurts giveaway and get your info there. And that's it, Scott. Last but not least, I believe, Manscaped. Obviously, guys, as Scotty read it earlier, go to manscaped.com and use promo code DSM Media. DSM Media. I'm sorry. DSM, no media. Just code DSM for 20% off and free shipping right there on the bottom of your screen at manscaped.com. Again, code DSM. Scott, let me get one. Go Birds.
Go Birds!
Let's go.